Today we're taking a first look at the Starling Roost. This is the Starling Roost, their stainless steel party hardtail. I'm excited to showcase this to you and build it up. There's some really interesting stuff going on here. It's a mullet, 29 front, 27.5 rear. It can run anywhere from a 120 to a 160 mil fork. It's got their traditional look where the chainstays mount on the yoke above the bottom bracket. Their full suspensions have that same look. It allows them to get more tire clearance, and it's kind of their signature look here. This is made out of stainless steel, so it's never going to rust. I've never ridden a stainless steel frame before. I'm curious how it compares to normal steel or tie or aluminum, but it looks absolutely beautiful, and I'm betting you can brush it just like you can brush titanium. Welds look flawless. They're made in Taiwan. The frame weight came in at 6.24 pounds. Not bad. That's about where I see rowdy steel frames falling in, so I'm actually surprised. I thought stainless was going to be a little bit heavier. Starling's got a really unique dropout system here. The axle threads in, and then a bolt threads in from the other side as well. It's kind of double threaded. Never seen that before. I always like to see what size tires actually fit in a frame. This is a 27.5 by 3.0. This is bigger than Starling says, so I don't expect it to fit. Woo. We've got 5 mil clearance all around on the drive side, but on the non-drive side, we've only got about 3 mil clearance in there. Same with the seat stays up here. About 5 mil clearance on each side. It clears, but I wouldn't recommend a 3.0. It's awfully close, but a 2.8 would fit. I know what the next question is going to be in the comments. Can you run a 29 on it? I'm betting no, but we're going to throw one in here anyway, because you're curious. I know you are. This is a 29 by 2.3. It rubs the brace. Where it's rubbing is right here. But it is clearing up here as well. Same thing over here. It's just rubbing that corner right there. If you enjoy me showing that sort of thing, let me know and consider donating to this channel and using the link below to buy me a coffee or something simple. Send a few bucks my way to say thanks. It takes a lot of work to test all these things out and see what fits and what doesn't. Now we're going to put in the proper size wheel. This is a 27.5 by 2.4. This is a Spinergy MXX30. I love these wheels. These Spinergies are a great deal. I've got a discount code in the description below, and they have a super muted damped feel, which is amazing on hardtails. We're running this mullet as directed. There's at least 15 mil clearance all around everywhere. It does not have a UDH. Transmission's good if you shift under load or you just hit the button and don't want to think about letting up a little on your cadence and just smash through things. The way I shift, I actually prefer regular SRAM axis. So for me, not having UDH is not a deal breaker, but I know it will be for some people. We have full external cable routing on everything, including the dropper. The dropper goes internal at the bottom of the seat tube. That's the only internal cable routing there is, and I love that. I hope one day I get the chance to ride a little BDI, even though it's a full suspension. That thing just looks so cool. I've seen some other Starlings, some Murmurs and others in the past in person, and they look every bit as beautiful as this. Stunning little bike here. Once you have your crank on, you don't really see that elevated chainstay anyway. Pretty cool way to make room in there. For the fork, we're using my trusty Cane Creek Helm Mark II. I'm not affiliated with Cane Creek. I just love their forks. These are my favorite forks. I painted this one to look like my special edition fork that I have. Didn't turn out great on the paint. I used Spray Dot Bike. It wasn't a great setup. So we're running 140 in the front. And one cool thing about this fork, if you're handy and a decent bike mechanic, you can swap the travel in about 10 minutes. All right, she's all built up. It came in at 30.95 pounds. I've got some heavy parts on here. Let's do a quick run through of my parts. RockShox Reverb Axis Dropper 150. That's heavy, but it makes my life simple when I'm building these frames. So it's wireless, but the routing for the dropper is external, external, external. Internal pops into here in the seat tube. It's a lot like the Banshee Paradox, and they did a nice job building these little standoffs for the water bottle cage so it doesn't smush your cables here. But the only rear cable I've got going on is my back brake because everything else is wireless. I'm running SRAM Axis GX, so no cables there, but it would go inside here and underneath the chainstay. I like the cable routing. I actually really like their little yoke design. I think it's cool, and it makes cable routing really tidy, and it looks like a Starling. I've got zero complaints with that. Really good chainring clearance. I'm running a 32 oval, which has the same clearance as a 34 round. I'll bet you could run a 34 oval in here and still have clearance. Wheels, I'm running Spinergy's beautiful MXX 30, 27.5 in the rear, 29 in the front. Running Maxxis Dissectors front and rear. Love this tire. They do wear out a little bit fast in Sedona, but I love this tire, especially as a front for a trail tire. I'm running 5Dev cranks. 5Dev is awesome. They've been a really strong supporter of me through my illness while I've been sick. And anytime you use my code to purchase these, not only do you get a discount, but they kick a few bucks my way to help support the channel. That means so much that they're willing to support me. I'm running 165 mil 5Dev cranks on an absolute black 32 tooth oval, and I'm running these Crank Brothers mallet. These are heavy pedals. These are downhill pedals. Love these pedals. I've also got a discount code for all Crank Brothers stuff in the description below. Running some tie bars with a 5Dev tie stem, 40 mil stem right now. Ergon GD1 grips, Paul Clamper mechanical disc brakes because I'm a weirdo like that. All those things are heavier than like a standard, like Shimano 4-pot brakes are going to be noticeably lighter than what I've got on here. But this is what I run on my bike. So you could easily get this bike in the 26, 27 pound range if you're running lighter stuff. This thing is stunning. I keep forgetting it's not titanium with how this stainless steel looks, and the welds are top notch. Looks really good. Now we need to throw this on the geometer to see what the actual geometry is. This is my geometer that I built so I could measure actual geometry of bikes. If you enjoy this information, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. It helps other people find it. If you want bike consultation advice, you want to pick my brain on all the different hardtails or full suspensions I've ridden, I do that over on Patreon. I'd be happy to help you over there. Let's see what numbers we got here. Ooh, we got a 425 rear center. Actual chainstay is 428. Reach comes in, ooh, 435. That's a short reach. I might want to run a little longer stem. Yeah, 435 with the 140 mil fork. This is unsagged. Some companies measure it sag, and as the fork sags, the reach gets longer. Front center, 775. Wheelbase, 1200. Seat tube length is a short 410. I'll have no problem running a 150. I could probably fit a 170 on there. Super long steer tube, which I love to see. Should make for a big stack. Let's measure the stack. Oh, this has a nice tall stack at 667. I'm gonna love that. Tall stacks, tall front ends. You don't feel hunched over. The front end might feel a little bit lighter, but it's going to be fun to pop into manuals and bunny hop and play around on the trail. That's a nice tall stack. I love the long head tube they've done. On all the bikes that I design, I always put a long head tube in there so that you have that tall stack. The 140 fork helps that as well. We have a 58 mil bottom bracket drop, which is pretty low for a mullet. Seat tube angle 76.3. I really like the look of that. Let's measure the head angle. 63.4. My goodness, that is slack. So Starling is marketing this as a do-it-all bike. It's not meant to be a shredder. It's not meant to be an XC machine. It's meant to be a little bit of everything in the middle. I think this is going to be a ton of fun. Super slack, fairly short rear end. Not too long of a reach. Should keep the bars close, make it playful and poppy. Usually mullets I prefer on steep, really steep, like fall line drop chutes where you're falling into these catch berms. I love mullets for that. For long days in the saddle, I prefer 29ers. They're a little bit more efficient. They keep their momentum up a little bit more. But on steep, rowdy stuff and jumps and places where you want to play, I really like mullets. I will say, if you're like me and you're swapping parts from a previous build over to this, you're going to need a longer shifter cable and a longer brake cable, unless your other bike happened to run it down this way, because the distance going down the down tube and that way is longer than if you go along the top tube where it's a little bit more of a straight line. So I had to get a different brake cable to make that fit. I love the versatility of this thing, how you could go flat out chopper and run a 160 on here, or you could probably build this to be a pretty quick little trail bike with some pretty rowdy geo numbers. I'll bet this would be a blast with a 120 fork as well. I would love to test it in that configuration as well. I'm curious, where would you take it? What do you think is most interesting about this bike? Thanks for watching, you guys. There's a party in the mountains, and you're invited.